Hello there, Sir from 17 once again, introducing you to a funny little Borderlands 2 video. There's an enemy on this game that is stronger, has more life, and gives an equal drop to that of Terramorphous, and it's this one right here. It's called, I think, Vermivorous The Invincible. As you can see, he's level 53, he's up there, he's pretty fucking huge, has life for days, and potentially you can get as many of these enemies as you want, and right now we have 2 of them at the same time. And we didn't mean for this to happen, it just kinda did. And the second one bugs out later on in the fight, it bugs out into the corner, but how you get these guys, if you're wondering, is the Vorkids, the little bug dudes, the ones that like to pod and evolve, and you literally have to let them evolve a bunch of times. And the tooltips on the load screens tell you that the Vorkids will not evolve unless they are with other, other insects, so you need to keep a bunch of them alive. And as you can tell, this thing has no problems one-shotting my character, who is level 50. Granted, I am using an amp shield, so my capacity isn't as high as some people's, but we have super badasses, Vorkids everywhere. We've got fucking ultimate badasses knocking about. The evolution period is about 6 or 7 stages, but once you get him there, this guy turns up and he takes a pounding. Couple of things to bear in mind while this fight is happening though. He's extremely buggy. You sometimes get to the point where the Vorkids will just not evolve anymore, they'll just stop doing it, and you'll have a super badass or an ultimate badass running around and they're just not podding and they don't do it, so you have to reset. And this is the Caustic Caverns. We have tried it in the Tundra Express, I think it's called, but we had absolutely no luck in that place, they just would not do it. And if you come in this with some money, you might want to spend it in the slot machines before you do, because you're going to die a lot, because the whole point of this is not to kill them, it's to keep them alive so they turn into, Mr. Shitstomper there, who, as you can see, I'm hitting him for some crazy damage and he's just taking it, completely taking it, which, this is probably one of the most fun fights on the game, because you can potentially do it, in any location that these insects exist. It's just a little bit finicky. And the second thing that makes it a little buggy is when he dies, the loot that he fires out is kind of similar to the last boss, where he can fire it into the map, he can fire it into places you can't get, and it's really frustrating, but it does happen, so you want to try and at least kite into an area that you can think you can capitalise on the loot. The cool thing about going for these, though, these Vermivorous guys, is every time they evolve and they open a pod, it releases loot. And some of the bigger guys, they release purples, they release blues, they release a lot of good colours, so if you're interested in getting some, interesting weapons, this is definitely one way to try and do it. I have not got any oranges, any legendaries off the drop from this creature, but I've only killed 3 of them, so that's not really saying much, considering that the oranges on Borderlands 2 are significantly rarer than they used to be. Like, I think this guy, the cool thing about this dude is when he dies, you can walk through his body, and you can't do that with the last boss, which is bullshit. And a little tip as well, if you stand where his head lands, the last boss, when you kill him, it will kill you. It did it to me earlier, I was messing about and I got punished for it, but this is about the time that I realised that the second one had glitched into the wall, because you'll notice there was an enormous Deathmark up there, and when we go into the room, we literally cannot see it. I don't know what I'm doing now, I must be eating, drinking, something along those lines, but you'll notice they're all shooting at the sky. I'm checking out some loot, everybody's going down, and I run in here thinking that I can see it, so I can hit it with probably some kunais to get some status effects, and lo and behold, there is nothing there, and people are still taking damage, it's still attacking us, it's just, clipped into the wall somehow. But when we go outside, we realise we can shoot the wall, we can actually do some damage to him, so I pop on an assault rifle that I'm quite fond of, and I think you'll see it in a moment. Yeah, there we go, there's the Deathtouch, there's all the damage hit, so I start shooting at it, and lo and behold, that whatever's there is there, and we can get some damage off on it. But these things, like I said, they're really fun to fight, they're really finicky to get to evolve, but when they do, you can have some insane encounters, and I'm hopefully going to capture some better ones than this one, because I want to get 3 or 4 of these things. I want to get a full team of of these dudes, these invincible guys, because it's just really silly. And especially when you consider that the amp damage you can get on this game is pretty ridiculous, so much so Terramorphous and the warrior don't last very long, but I think it just died. And here's the really anticlimactic ending as we realise that all the loot it was going to drop has been thrown into the graphics and into the walls, so that's kind of shitty. But there's going to be more clips from this game coming, because there's a couple of things I want to discuss, because I've been reading on forums, I've been reading a lot of the banter and the chatter that's going around, and I need to address it because I completely disagree with it. But thanks for watching, guys, and you take care now.